Hey everybody! So today we're going to talk about Uranus. Here is the card for it. And so with the planet being what energy needs to be expressed, the house being where or what area of life the energy needs to be expressed through, and the sign being how the energy is expressed, Uranus is a planet, so Uranus is a what energy needs to be expressed. So to start out, we'll talk about its dignities. So Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. That is where it is at home. That is where it feels most comfortable. It is exalted in Scorpio. It is in fall in Taurus. Taurus is opposite Scorpio on the wheel. And it is in detriment in Leo. Leo is opposite Aquarius on the wheel. Now, being exalted in Scorpio, Uranus probably functions at its highest ability in Scorpio. If you think about that, you know, that one sounds kind of weird right off the bat. It might sound a little strange, but Uranus is weird. So there you go. But no, but in all seriousness, Scorpio, you know, is all about Scorpio is very transformational energy. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? And Uranus is change. It wants to express change. So it's a catalyst for this. So in Scorpio, it probably is able to. It probably can function at its very best. At its very best. Now, in fall in Taurus and in detriment in Leo. Let's think about that for a second. So in fall in Taurus energy expresses itself in a stable way, in a secure way, all of those sorts of things. Uranus is none of those. So it can have a difficult time in Taurus. Expressing itself the way it wants to express itself in Taurus. Right now, Uranus is in Taurus, in the sky, transit-wise. That's where it is right now. Which is probably why things have felt so fucked up. I really do believe that this plays a big role in last year and even this year. I really do. Because, you know, Taurus wants to kind of cling and hold on to security, what it finds security in, and Uranus is like, fuck that, and wants to just fucking, you know, change everything. I think it is all for the good, but it isn't real comfortable, right? And this is I'm talking about, you know, what's going on right now in the world, but also in a natal chart. So there's that, and then it's in detriment in Leo. You know, Leo energy is, there is a, you know, it wants to creatively express itself, right? Leo energy does. It's more self-focused, like creative self-expression. It's self-focused, whereas Uranus is more collective focused. It will want to express more collective things. So I think that's probably why it's considered in detriment in Leo. There's just, well, also being opposite Aquarius, but the energy, what Uranus wants to express isn't always able to do that as easily in Leo. So what does Uranus energy want to express? Well, Uranus is weird. I mentioned that already. It's weird. It is it is eccentric, also weird. It is collective. It does have a collective. It does tend to want to express more collective things. Then depending on, what sign it falls in will kind of show how that happens, but it is more collectively focused. It's very freedom focused. It wants to be able to express that. That's what it needs to be able to express. It's change, sudden change. A lot of the time, it's actually kind of a fun exercise. Uranus transits in your natal chart to go back through your life, and if there have ever been any times that there have been any real changes, real quick changes to things in your life, whether that be circumstance or what have you, you should look and see if Uranus was fucking with anything in your natal chart at that time, because it's an agent of change, and it's an agent of chaos. It can be, though usually both of those things, right, in the natal chart or by transit, there usually is a higher good for it. There usually is. But yeah, it can be a little chaotic. Uranus can be a little chaotic. So perhaps, maybe whatever house Uranus falls in your chart, you could be looking at those areas of life, whatever house it is. Maybe you're a little more chaotic in those areas of life. Maybe you're a little more, maybe you need more freedom in those areas of life. Maybe you're more weird in those areas of life, or eccentric. Some of those keywords might fit for you. Some of them may not. That's fine. These are just like, I don't know. Let's say you've got Uranus in the, let's say you've got Uranus in the 10th house. Maybe you're a little more weird in your career ambitions, and whatever sign it falls in is how that's expressed. How the inner, how this shines through. Maybe you're a little more chaotic in the public spheres of life, or, in your career ambitions. Maybe you need more freedom there, It's just some ideas to play with. Liberation is a huge one. Uranus wants to liberate. So I don't know, let's say you've got Uranus in the 7th house. Maybe, one-on-one relationships of any variety. You need to be liberated with them. And, what sign then rules the 7th house and what Uranus is in will kind of show how that happens. But there's a need for liberation through relationships, or to be liberated from them, even perhaps in some cases. Of course, you would want to take everything into the chart, everything going on in the chart into account. Aspects made, all and even, all kinds of shit. All that shit. You want to take it all into account. But, that's one way you could play with that. Let me see. It's very hopeful. Uranus is very hopeful. This is something it wants to express. Hope for the future, because it is very future. It's a very future focused planet, and it doesn't mind creating chaos and revolution and things like that, and rebellion, which are also Uranian things. It doesn't mind that if there's hope to be had for the future within that, if that makes sense. Though, sometimes with Uranus, you do have to check and make sure that what you're rebelling against, because while Uranus does have hope for the future, sometimes Uranus can kind of rebel just to rebel for no for no real, just because it wants to, because it is different, right? It is different energy, eccentric energy, and sometimes it can just kind of rebel to be different. So where Uranus is in your chart, I might say to make sure that if you ever feel any need to rebel in those areas of life or from those areas of life, I might say to make sure that there's actually a purpose, and it's not just that you're wanting to do it for no real reason. Because that Uranus can't operate kind of that way, because it can be kind of chaotic. So of course, that's not necessarily always the case. Everything going on in the chart needs to be taken into account, but that is something that you might want to watch for with Uranus. But I like Uranus. I think it's a fun one. Personally, I think it's a fun one. And yeah. So anyway, I think I'm going to stop here. But if you are watching this on YouTube, you can find us on Instagram. We are at Let's Fuck with Astrology. I am at Saturn Season Astrology on Instagram. Natalie is at Paterno Astrology on Instagram. If you're watching this on Instagram, you can find us on YouTube at Let's Fuck with Astrology. If you do the Reddit thing, you can find us on the subreddit Let's Fuck with Astrology. And if you're interested in the star cards, you can go to letsfuckwithastrology.com/star-cards. Okay, everybody. I'll see y'all later.